What's up, everybody? I'm Sly The Movie Guy, and here's my movie review of Spider-Man 2, 2004 film that stars Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Alfred, Molina, Rosemary, J.K. Simmons, and the rest of the other cast and crew. And I already reviewed the first Spider-Man film, so you can check that out on the channel. I'll put the link down below in the description box. And this is me where I'll continue to review every Spider-Man film leading up to Spider-Man Far From Home. I really can't wait for that film. And this is a film I've been wanting to review on my channel when I started, so I didn't know when was the right time to review it until I heard Spider-Man Far From Home coming out. I was like, yes, this is the right time. I can just review this movie. One of my favorite comic book films of all time. And I remember in 2004 that when people talking about the Spider-Man 2 film is coming out, I was like, huh? Really? Like, Spider-Man 2? And like, cause I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, so hearing that a sequel is coming out of Spider-Man 2, I was just so excited and happy about it. Cause you know the internet, to me, I went into the internet, and the internet wasn't as big like that. So during the summertime, I was playing with my cousins at my grandma's house. We were playing outside. I was talking about Spider-Man 2. They wasn't like into comic book film like that, but they knew they were very aware of Spider-Man, and they knew how much I liked the character and stuff. So I was like dressed like it. I made up my Spider-Man costume when I was little, so that was kind of like funny and stuff. So when we watched this, like the TV advertisements of Spider-Man 2, I was like, man, when I'm going to see this movie, when I'm going to like get a chance to. Then my parents picked me up. Then they said, hey, we're going to see Spider-Man 2. I was like, what? Then they showed me the tickets. I was so happy. I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. We went to the movie theater. We saw a bunch of people with Spider-Man costumes, and not costumes, shirts. And I was just like, man, I didn't wear no Spider-Man shirt, so it was like excited. I wish I wore, but on that day, it was just so excited because I didn't care. So I was so excited to see this movie because, like I said, I love Spider-Man. So we went to the movie theater, and it was packed. It was like, I remember my dad had to sit in the front, my mom had to sit in the back. So it was kind of like, it was really a packed house. Everybody was so excited to see a sequel of a Spider-Man movie. And I was too. And when I remember leaving out, everybody was like, this is better than the original. And I might agree with them on it because to me it was. I was like, so like, wow, this movie actually was better than the original. Which I'll explain more about that too, but in the review, so I'll explain it. But one of the things I really like is the story, and pretty much what we get is the story is about basically is our main character Peter Parker, which now he's Spider-Man, but now trying to create a balanced life, but everything is hard on him because he's getting fired from his jobs, he's failing in his class and stuff, and now like conflicts with his friends and families and stuff, and a new scientist that becomes a villain is creating some science nuclear fusion thing, and now try to build it and about to destroy half of New York, and that's kind of causing Spider-Man to try to balance things out. So it's basically, that's what the movie's about, and I like that about this movie. This storyline in this movie is really, really good here, and that's why what makes it a good superhero movie and comic movie is we get to see our character Peter Parker and our other characters that they fleshed out from the first movie, give us a good introduction, but here they fleshes it out perfectly well. Because now we get to see our character Peter Parker, like in the beginning of the film, we get to see him like talk about like, because he sees Mary Jane on the billboard, but then after that we see the guy, I forgot the pizza guy's name, where he said, you always late, huh? Why you late, Parker? And we get to see that right in the beginning of the movie, that we can relate to our character right in the beginning. Because now, like, he can't even deliver pizzas on time, which reminds me of a little bit, which I'll get back to the scene, but remind me of the Spider-Man 2 video game. We had delivered pizzas, and that's one of the best video games based off the movie, basically. So that was a really fun game. I really recommend you playing that game. It was real fun. You get to play, like, side missions and fight the other villains of the Spider-Man villains from the comic books and stuff. So it was a really fun game, and I really enjoyed it. I played it like recently, so it's really a fun time. I really do recommend this game. I probably said it the first time, so really do. So like I said, the movie just really makes us care for the character, because like later on in the film, you get to see like the conflict with him and Harry and stuff, because from the ending of the film, where Harry told him, like, when his father, because his father was the Green Goblin in the beginning of the movie, like in the first Spider-Man movie where he like died and stuff because he pierced and killed himself and stuff, the Green Goblin. And remember in the funeral scene in the end of the first Spider-Man movie where Harry said, he was stolen from me, one day Spider-Man will pay. So all that rage that Harry has, it comes back in this film. And he asked Peter in Peter Parker's birthday party, he said, what you been doing, pal? He said, Peter said, I've been kind of busy taking pictures of your friend, Spider-Man. And he said, let's get off the subject, Harry. And Harry wants to know who Spider-Man is, and Peter can't tell him that because Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So all that is really making Harry mad because he wants to know who killed his father. And I really like how this film really fleshed out Harry Osborn's character as well as Peter. We also get more fleshed out moments with Aunt May, played by Rosemary Harris, and because now she's dealing with money problems, she can't keep the house and stuff, and she's feeling sadness of Uncle Ben's death, and that really plays a part too because now she really because that really makes her really sad in a lot of ways, and a lot more with that, it creates a conflict with her and Peter because now Peter tells her the full truth about that he was just trying to impress Mary Jane with the card thing, and she said he's responsible for Uncle Ben's death and stuff because he didn't go to the library. So all that conflict between like Harry and Peter and Aunt May and Peter, all that is really like cramming on Peter and him getting fired in a job and failing in class because Dr. Connor's saying, you finish that paper on Otto Octavius because I'm failing you. So all this is really hitting Peter really hard. So I liked how this film is really like punching it on Peter. You just have to beat this guy down. And I really like how this film does. And another thing too, what really hits him hard is he can't even make it to Mary Jane's play, the girl that he loves next door. So, and that's really pounding on him. And another thing, she's getting married to the astronaut, the J. Jonah Jameson's son, that is the astronaut. So all that is really pounding on Peter, and I thought this film does an excellent job of that, and it excels on that. That's why I think this is what makes this one of the best comic films of all time, because it really understands the character of Peter, and I really like that because when you look at our main protagonist of our character, you really got to create something to make us care for our character, and I thought they really excels on it. And it's like that in the comic books of Spider-Man, because Spider-Man always had struggles like that too. He can't. Sometimes he always comes late for things. He always has money problems, and I really like how they took that all from the comic books and put it on this film. It really does exceptionally well, and that too is like Stan Lee's creation. When Stan Lee created this character, which I heard from a thing or something on DVD or something like that, where Stan Lee publicly said he wanted to make a teenager that had problems, a superhero that was a teenager with problems. And somebody asked and said, why would you want that, Stanley? Because he said, well, I have money problems. So he created something, he created a character that we can relate, and this movie makes us relate to the character a whole lot well. And then we also get a good introduction to our new character of Dr. Otto Octavius / Doc Ock, played by Alfred Molina. We definitely get a good backstory on him. So this film really does well on setting up, letting us flesh our characters out more in this second film, right? Like in the introduction of our first film, flesh our characters out more, then giving us a good introduction of our villain. And all that is really good pacing in this film, and the storyline is well made. And at the time this movie this came out, the rest in peace Roger Ebert said that this was the best superhero film he ever seen since Superman 1978, which is my favorite movie of all time. Man, I recommend you checking it out. But that's quite of a good compliment to say this is the best superhero film since 1978 Superman. And I agree with Roger Ebert. This movie is great. And to say, is it better than the original? I'd say yes, because it really fleshes our characters out more. And it makes it more like a film. That's what I like about it. The first one was really good as like a comic book movie with all the action and stuff, because the first one has a lot of action, which the action is good here too in this film, which I will explain in comparison to the first film. But something about this film, it feels more like a film. Because Because when you watch it, it has so much subtlety moments that you get so much of the dialogue, which the dialogue is very, very good here. And it's not too cheesy or like over the top. Like the first one had a little bit of cheesy humor, which I still like, but the dialogue was still good in the first one. But here it was just so much grounded and realistic. And I felt like I was watching a real life thing or something. And then like when the superhero stuff comes in here, I was like, whoa, this is a superhero film? I literally forgot it was a superhero film. So it was really, really good just seeing that movie. I was just like, wow. I just can't believe how they did it. And I really give the writing and Sam Raimi and them credit. And Sam Raimi directed this film once again, which he did a phenomenal job of putting heart in the first film, which the second film, he put a lot of heart here of directing. And it was a lot of really problems of making this film too, because like I said, when they was doing production and stuff, it was like they had a hard time. I remember like when I watched the behind the scenes of the thing recently of Sam Raimi and them, they had a difficult time. It was like the next day they had to start over and stuff. They had to put things together. And I noticed that it was during like a concept, they were trying to put the Lizard and Black Cat in this film. That would have been exciting to see because I've been a big fan of the Lizard character. And I really want to see the Lizard on big screen. We finally got that later on in the other Spider-Man film, which I will probably go in depth on that in the future. But Black Cat and the Lizard in the Spider-Man 2 film with Doc Ock, that would have been kind of interesting. So I would have loved to see that if that did happen. But I was fine with the Doc Ock thing. So having Doc Ock as the main villain, because like I said, having too much kind of can make your film have too much things, but that ended up happening in the other films, which I will get into that. But here it was perfectly just have Doc Ock, just flesh our characters out and have Doc Ock. So I like how they did that. And plus too, while they was filming, I remember Tobey Maguire, they said he got hurt in one of the sets or one of the scenes. So pretty much they almost casted Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie as Spider-Man. So that's kind of ironic because now he's about to play Mysterio in Far From Home. So now we almost had Jake Gyllenhaal that almost became Spider-Man, like about to be Spider-Man in this film, and now about to be Mysterio in the next Spider-Man movie. So that's kind of like crazy. And that's one of the things I liked how went the making of this film. This film actually had a hard time, and just to say one of the best superhero films had a hard time like filming and stuff. That's quite kind of crazy. Just didn't expect that. So that was one of the things. Back to the sequel. Now, this is like one of the films I think don't get enough credit as like a sequel better than the original. I mean, we see so many sequels like now, but before this film came out, we actually had good superhero sequels. Like we had X-Men 2 that came out in 2003, which was totally better than the original. I do recommend that film. But other films that came out way earlier that got the superhero genres jumped up, like we had Superman 2, which I think that's really better than the first Superman movie, even though I love Superman in my heart. Then we had like Batman Returns. I like the movie. Hey, if you're one of the people that didn't like Batman Returns, I understand that. But to me, I thought it was better than the 89 Batman. And plus we had Blade 2. Blade 2 that was directed by Guillermo del Toro. That was really better. That was better than the first movie, which I love Blade 1. But like I said, these movies were really good. Then later on, like when Spider-Man 2 came out, then later on we had other sequels that was really better than the original, like Captain America Winter Soldier. And we had like The Dark Knight. And those two were like superiorly better than their first film. So all these sequels, like I mentioned, I do recommend them. They were really better than the original. So one of them you might not agree with, but hey, I just say recommend checking these out if you haven't seen them. So I just think this film just don't get enough credit. It just really it does a lot of things that I don't see a lot of superhero film sequels do now, or some in the past. It just really it has a lot of heart and depth on it, and you could really care for the characters. And I gotta talk about the acting here. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker / Spider-Man really, really did good here. He did a phenomenal job, especially with Peter Parker. I really like how he adds so much depth into Peter Parker. You could really feel that Tobey Maguire put a lot of heart in this role once again as this character. When you see, like I said, and about his character in this film, him not getting fired at a job, he's failing in class and stuff. But what I like about it is you get to see that acting ability, because you saw when you see like Harry Osborn like slapping a party about Spider-Man killing his father, but you're not helping me out and stuff. And then him seeing Mary Jane getting married to this astronaut, it just really is just like, you can really see that each scene, you can see that Tobey Maguire was really putting heart in his role, and you could really actually could see it. I really like appreciate it, because I like really could feel for like, man, it's like it really felt real, and I was like, this is like phenomenal. And James Franco does good as Harry Osborn also too. It just, you could really feel that too in him too. It's just like you see this character from the first film was just jealous of Peter, and now you see this range of Harry Osborn, and I was just like, man, James Franco. And you gotta know, at the time, James Franco was good, but now you seeing James Franco now, like the guy that just played in The Disaster Artist. James Franco is just a great actor, so I was just like, man. So if you haven't seen Disaster Artist, if you old enough, I recommend checking out. It just the acting was just great, and then Rosemary Harris does a phenomenal job as Aunt May once again. You can see her role; she was real in that. Kirsten Dunst does good here at this time around. I say she does fine for this role here. But let me talk about J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons does excellent once again as J. Jonah Jameson. I like the scenes where he said, "Parker, you're fired. Why? You all catching frisbees? Capable of taking pictures of a couple of geezers playing chess. Not now." It was just funny, like when he was talking to Hoffman, whatever the guy named, Sam Raimi's brother. If you didn't know, that was Sam Raimi's brother in the film. He said, "We're gonna name this guy." When Doc Ock becomes when Dr. Octave becomes Doc Ock, he said, "We're gonna name him Dr. Squid." Oh, that's correct. He said, "Dr. Strange, that's been taken." Wait, I got it. Dr. Octopus. Wait. New villain town, Doc Ock. That's what I said. Yeah, you want to raise? Get out of here. He said, "What are you doing? We've been looking for you." And then when he, like Peter Parker, he comes in, he said, "Where do you live? We're looking for you all morning." But from the explosion of the nuclear thing, he said the nuclear fusion, and Robbie said, "I thought Spider-Man was there. I heard Spider-Man was there. Excuse me. You're out. You take a picture of squirrels. You're fired." Playing Tim's like, "Oh, excuse me, you're on fire. I need you." J.K. Simmons just owns his role as Jameson. I mean, just bring him back in any Spider film. He was just so good here once again. Now let's get on to the new guy, Alfred Molina as Dr. Otto Octavius. All right, he just owns the. He was just freaking phenomenal as Doc Ock. It's like Dr. Octopus, and I've been wanting to see Dr. Octopus on a big screen for a long time. And when I was young, I was just so excited to see Dr. Octopus when the Spider-Man post had the reflection on Spider-Man. I was Dr. Octopus. I was like, "Is that Dr. Octopus?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that's Dr. Ock." It was just so. It was one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, and Alfred Molina just does a phenomenal job as his character, and they really give us a good backstory. Like when he's telling Peter Parker about the nuclear fusion thing he's doing and stuff, and they had good dialogue talking him and Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker and Dr. Otto Octavius. Then Doc Ock invites him to the dinner and things, talking about the thing how he met his wife Rosie and stuff, and Peter Parker's talking about the nuclear thing with them and stuff. He said, "Rosie, he thinks I'm going to blow this thing up," because Peter Parker talking about how you think you can keep it stabilized and things. So it was a great thing just having our main character meeting our main antagonist, and that was really good. And I thought this film really does well on that. And Doc Ock and Alfred Molina and Doc Ock, it was just so well done, especially when he as the nuclear fusion thing going on, he think he's got everything under control, and then he kills his wife in the act of it and stuff, and all that is really pounded on him because he really thought he was doing something good, but then he calls his wife dying, and he's like, it worked, and all them arms talking to him and stuff. So it really gave us a really good backstory on Dr. Otto Octavius, and I really like that. And what I like is after all that happens, he's getting a hospital, which is one of my favorite scenes. And this is where I like how the film chose the mechanical arms and stuff and like that. This is where it becomes this is where it's the Sam Raimi film. That's what I like about this film. Like the hospital scene, right off the get-go. Oh my God. They're one of my favorite things from I've seen in a superhero movie. Like the arm scene, like when the doctor say, everybody take chop class. And then when you're about to chop the arms, and then you see them arms just savaging around, it was just like something from the Sam Raimi, and I'm a big fan of the Evil Dead trilogy. Man, it just reminded me of Evil Dead. Sam Raimi you could tell that was a Sam Raimi fingerprint. When I first saw, and I didn't watch the Evil Dead back then, but when I saw that scene in the movie theater, I was like, oh my God, oh, this is awesome. It was just like, and all the people screaming. I know a lot of people didn't like all the screaming stuff. They said, why so much screaming? And I could get why, and I like that. That's what I like about it. I like when directors take that part and make like it's their film. And this was like just like a Raimi film. I don't care if it has like the screaming stuff. If this added that little horror aspect, I like that because it reminds me, it's just like, this is my film. So this is what I'm doing. This is what I like. So I like how, and I respect some of that. And I think it makes sense in this film because when Dr. Octavius made those arms, it really gives us like what these arms can really do. And I like how you can just give us a story of just give us something like that, because if Dr. Otto Octavius give into these arms, you can really just see how destructive these arms can be. And this movie really fleshes out. And there's a reference of the Evil Dead, that Saw thing where Bruce Campbell and the Evil Dead had that little thing, that thing. It's just really a good thing. Man, I love that scene. It's just one of the great things, and I really like that. And thumbs up to Sam Raimi to putting that in this film. I really liked it. What I like about what this movie did is added that element of the Spider-Man No More from the comic book thing, where in this film where Peter Parker, after the Planet Auditorium, where he sees like when he gets slapped by Harry Osborn, and Mary Jane's getting married to this astronaut and stuff, look coming out in the ceremony thing. It just like after that he was swinging and he loses his powers and stuff, and then he goes to the doctor and tell him in his imagination he's Spider-Man. He keeps falling off these walls, and the doctor gives him these little things and stuff, the little dialogue talk and stuff. Well, what's the problem? Then he goes back to his apartment and stuff. It just like this. Look, it have a dream sequence of Uncle Ben and stuff like that, and he's like saying where he told Uncle Ben like in the dream thing, saying I'm Spider-Man no more, and it was just like a good scene because it was like it shows this man's getting beat down on everything from job to film classes and the conflicts and stuff. It shows our character, and it's like he's giving up. It's like he can't be a superhero and a normal human being, so he has to choose. So it's like I can't do this anymore. I want to live a life of my own. So he's like it's pounding on him. So it's like, man, you want to see this character win, but it's like he's giving up. I'm done. So that's when that scene comes up, he's like Spider-Man no more. He lays his costume on the trash can, and that captures the comic book element right there. And I really like how they did it. Man, it was just set right. It was just set. All that stuff leading up to that is really, really good, and the writing was just perfect. And I literally teared up with this scene, and I was just sad. I remember watching the movie theater. I was like, it was just like a scene that just was like, man, it just hit you right here. It was like, it could put you in mind, like, if you're a superhero and a regular human being, it's kind of hard balancing those things. And I thought this film really does well on that, on account. It just really does well. I was just like, man, because you can see being a superhero and try to be with be with the lady you like, the one you love and stuff, and sit through that and all the conflict. It pounds Peter. It just really, and I was just like, man, I want this guy to win. So I like how this film does that part. And so they did a very excellent job of doing a character like that. And that's where it leads on to like Peter Parker finally like doing good at work and stuff, and finally passing his grades in school and stuff. And the raindrops falling on my head, which I know a lot of people crack on that still to this day, that raindrops keep falling on my head. Excuse me. I know a lot of people say that was kind of stupid, but I can understand that. I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine in the film, so I actually don't mind it. it might be a little cheesy here, but hey, it's supposed to add a little fun. And I think this film does well like the first film. This film actually still has like the fun, even though with all the drama and all the stuff that's going on. I think this film had a perfect balance once again as the first one. That's why I like these first two. They have a sense of knowing how to add the drama and the seriousness, then have the fun of it and balance those two things out very well. And I don't think no other comic film, like I said, again, like I said in my other review with the Spider-Man, I don't think some comic films have problems of balancing those things out. And I think this film absolutely excels on that here too, except make it more realistic with the drama more. And I really like this film, how it does it here. And the first one really does well on some parts. Like I said, the first film does well of making it an action and a paced good film. So the pacing of the first film is really good because it has a sense of knowing how to add like some of the dialogue on subtlety moments and bring in the action here. This second one actually has where it's more drama, where there's action here in the film, where like it spreads it out, but it adds the action in the right moments. So I like how it does here in this film. So I really appreciate that about this film. One of the things I will say about the action here in this film, it is breathtaking here, and I really like how it's done here. The action here the first one just never gave you like a breather. Here it sets you up where you can see things where it's going to happen, especially like at the bank scene where Doc Ock is trying to get money to build his little project thing, the nuclear fusion. The act scenes, like, it is really mind-blowing. And I really like it on the Spider-Man 2.1 thing because it really adds like more action scenes here versus the theatrical cut. So when I looked in the movie theater, I love the action scenes, but then when I noticed like the Spider-Man 2 coming on TV, I'm like, why did y'all cut some of these things out? It's just like, why would you cut it out? So it kind of put in my mind like, man, why would y'all do that? It just, because some of the scenes, like, especially when Doc Ock is Spider-Man, where Doc Ock kidnaps Aunt May on the building and stuff, there was more action scenes where Doc Ock banging Spider-Man inside the room of song. I'm like, why y'all cut that out? It just more to the action where I'll mention later and stuff, but it just like they add so much action scenes here that I was like, man, especially where Peter Parker trying to make it to Mary Jane's play and stuff, where the burglars or something like in a police car, like driving and the police chasing them, like a car chase scene. So Peter Parker looks behind him and turns to do a backflip, and this is one of the funniest scenes and stuff where the kid said, "How did you do that?" Well, work out, eat your green vegetables. That's what my mama always saying. I actually never believed her. It was so funny. That was just a funny scene. But about that scene is where the police car flips, almost hit the people, and Spider-Man web like stops it, and the lady said, "It's a web. Go, Spidey, go!" And then Spider-Man goes through that truck scene, and that always gives me goosebumps because I'm like, how does Spider-Man go through that? It's like, it's just when Spider-Man swinging in an action stuff like that. It was like, oh. And then when the burger said, "Shoot it out," and Spider-Man just like swinging. I love when Spider-Man do these moves, swinging and stuff, and then shooting as well, like. It was just really great. I love that scene and all. It was just totally fantastic. One of the parts get back to that scene, one of the parts I really like about this movie is show our character Mary Jane. I really like how when they do her character, because she really likes Peter, but Peter's not telling anything. That's why when the backyard scene, she really has, like, Peter likes her, but he don't know how to say to her and stuff. And she don't know what to say about Peter. So it's almost like these two really like they want to be with each other, but they just don't know how to tell each other who they are and stuff. And I really like that about this film. I think this film does excellent with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. I know a lot of people kind of give like that guy saying, "Oh, it's not great and stuff." I thought this film really does well from the first movie and second movie. You really actually can feel for both of these characters. You really like say, I want these two together. So it was like, yes, I want to see that. So I really think this movie really fleshed that out well, but it's like Mary Jane is trying to like prove a point like she wants to be with somebody, but her heart's not with that other person. So you can see that in this film. And I really like how they did her character. I really appreciate that. That's why when it leads on like to like when she's talking to Jameson's son said, "Are you going to talk to your pal Peter or something, invite him?" She said, I don't know. She said he's a big jerk. And then that's when the scene why she said, "Can I kiss you in 1 minute?" And she kissed Jameson's son like upside down a little bit. She doesn't have that feeling. She thinks in her head, she's like, that's not, I don't know. It's not the same. That's why, like, when you see in the first film, it's like when the upside down kiss and then that fear scene, the grave scene where she kissed Peter and stuff, she like did this because she remembers. And so that's what it in the film leads on, which they do really well. It leads on to the diner scene where her and Peter meet. And she said, "Do you love me or not?" He said, I don't. And she said, "Kiss." She said, "Give me a kiss." She said, "Kiss me. I want to know something." And that was just like, it was like you were going to see that was going to happen until later on where Doc Ock is, the car busts through the diner scene and you're like, oh no, Doc Ock's coming. And I remember why Doc Ock comes because when you see Doc Ock sing, because Doc Ock asks, because Harry asks, I'll give you the tritium, because Doc Ock's still working on his nuclear plant stuff, the nuclear infusion. And Harry said, I'll give you the tritium if you give me Spider-Man. He said, how I find him. He said, Peter Parker takes pictures of Spider-Man Daily Bugle, so find Peter Parker. So that's where it leads on to that. So both of those things, Mary Jane thing and the kissing and Doc Ock's thing playing, really ties in. And the writing, like I said again, is really good. They set everything up perfectly to build this scene up. And that's when Doc Ock, and I don't get why Doc Ock was something like almost like when Pete asks, give me Spider-Man or I'll peel the flesh of her bones. And so Peter Parker said, you lay one finger on it. And Doc Ock said, you do what? And slings Peter Parker to the wall. I'm like, why would Doc Ock do that? You wouldn't want to hurt Peter and stuff, because Peter is not Spider-Man unless he knows he's Spider-Man. So that scene was kind of like, why would he do that? So I don't get that, but that's not the point. It's kind of amazing, but why would he throw Peter Parker on there? But hey, it don't make sense for that. And that's why I don't get that. It's kind of crazy and all that. I just don't get why he did that. So it's just one of those things I thought that this film really does well. One of the things that the film does well on too is like another part too where Peter Parker is trying to be the hero and stuff, but he don't have the powers, is the burning house scene. I know a lot of people didn't like the thing. Some people say it was a techno thing and something like that. It was like out there, like it was like a rehash of the first film. But I don't think it was necessary here, because if he's a superhero and all that, he's still a superhero. Excuse me, he's still a superhero. It's just he don't have the power, but you could tell that he wants to save people, and that's when he saved that little girl, which is adorable, by the way. It's just when you see him, like when he tried to hit the door and stuff, he's like, here is his shoulder, but then he kicks the door down and saves his girl. That scene was just so powerful. I just love that scene, man. It was so perfectly well done. I really liked it. But then when it leads on to the scene where he says, like, where the firemen say, you got guts, kid. And they say it was one more person in the building. And that's when you say, if he had his powers, he would be able to say the other person. And it was just, man, in that scene. And that was really good. I really liked that. And it was so well done. I just thought that scene. And that was one of the scenes I liked. Now let me get on to the action scene I've been saving for long. One of the best action scenes where he finally gets powers back and then all that, where he goes into fighting Doc Ock on the clock tower and stuff when they had that little battle. When they end up falling, it goes on to one of the best scenes I still think to this day. People say for that time it's the best action scenes in a superhero film, but I still find it fun still this day. The train sequence. My goodness, this is one of the ones that gave me the geek out moment while I was in the movie theater. I was like, oh my God, I was just so amped up. This scene was just so absolutely phenomenal. It really, like, this is where I think the filmmaking does a good. The action scenes were so well done, where Spider-Man and Doc Ock fighting, where Doc Ock's like this, the mechanical arms, and Spider-Man dodging it, but moving this and that. And then Doc Ock grabs Spider-Man, and Spider-Man goes through that little thing on a thing. It was just so well done. It really does. What I like about it is on the Spider-Man 2.1, it was a lot of more scenes in that really gave you goosebumps and breathtaking. It's like it never gave you a chance to breathe. You're like, I remember going back and forth with my mom in the movie theater. I shouldn't have been moving so much, but like I said, it was so packed. I went on. My dad was like, "Hey, you saw that scene?" I asked my mom, "Did you see that scene?" It was just so crazy. I was just like so amped up when I was seeing that scene. It was just crazy. And I remember when Doc got pushed Spider-Man out and he was on the tree and Spider-Man had to get back like off and swinging and stuff. It was just choreographed so well. And I like where Doc Ock in the 2.1 version where he put Spider-Man on the other train and Spider-Man still kept coming back swinging. It was just so well done. I really, man. And then when Doc Ock grabs the thing that creates the speed for the train and stuff and pulls the thing off the train and then gives Spider-Man, he said, "You have a plane to catch." And Spider-Man has to stop the train. And I know a lot of people say that his mask comes off, but if you really look at that scene closely, that sparks that thing that blew up where the guy said, "Help, I can't stop the thing," and it sparked on Spider-Man mask, and it kind of and he couldn't see, he had to take the mask off, so that spark's gone on his mask, so he had to take it off. And then when Spider-Man had to stop the train, and this is one of the most powerful scenes where Spider-Man has to stop the train and he has to slow it down. It is one of the best scenes in superhero. It was mind gripping. I almost like, man, it's just like you can see this guy is trying to save people, and that's what makes Spider-Man a hero. And I think Tobey Maguire does great as Spider-Man as a hero. He might have did a lot of wisecracking jokes, but he did some wisecracking jokes with the scene with the "here's your change" in the bank scene fighting Doc Ock. But this is where it makes Spider-Man a hero. You got to see the hero, and this is what makes him a hero. And that scene was so well done. And we've seen that happen in recent Spider-Man films. The other Spider-Man film took that inspiration of it. So here it was just like the first time we seen this thing. It was like, man, it was so great. It was so well done. I really like this. This is where it was so powerful. And when the kids said, where the people in the train said, the guy said, "He's just a kid, not older than my son." And the kid said, "We found something. We won't tell nobody." It was like, he said, "It's great to see you back, Spider-Man." It was just so well done. This movie had you so emotional. Got me emotional right now a little bit. So, it was so good. This movie is so powerful. This movie hits you. And then the next scene where we get where Doc Ock is coming, he said, "He's mine." And the people say, "You get to him, you get to me." It's just like all these people is for Spider-Man. And you actually can feel all the New Yorkers are really feeling Spider-Man. You really feel that in this movie, and it was so well done. I like this movie. This movie's so great, and I can't believe how they did it. And leads on to the scene where Doc Ock gives Harry Osborn Spider-Man, and this scene is so well done, where Harry Osborn says, "All the pain you cause me. First we see a Spider-Man to open your eyes as you die." And then Harry Osborn's like this, "Peter, it's you." And that's where he says, "You killed my father." And Peter Parker is trying to ask Harry where is he's keeping her, because Doc Ock kidnapped Mary Jane and stuff. And that's when it leads on to where Peter Parker and will go into finding Doc Ock as Spider-Man, and he finally is going to say Mary Jane, and then leading the final showdown battle where Spider-Man is fighting Doc Ock in an abandoned warehouse. And the nuclear thing is going all crazy, and Mary Jane almost got sucked in it. And I love that scene. I love this scene. This scene was just powerful. There's more powerful scenes about this movie, because when it gets to where Peter Parker is fighting Doc Ock and then he pulls the thing out, but then the nuclear thing is still going on, he's like, "Now what?" Because the thing is not shut down. Because Spider-Man shut it down earlier in the film, but now this time it didn't shut down. So he's like looking at the thing, and then look at Otto Octavius' conscience, because Doc Ock got shot from the thing because he was trying to kill Spider-Man. He said, "Dr. Octavius." He took the mask off, and Doc Ock said, "Parker, brilliant but lazy." He said, "We got to shut this thing down." And Doc Ock said, "I won't." And Peter Parker said, he said that someone once told me what Aunt May told him in a later film when Aunt May was moving out because she was losing her house and the money and stuff. She told Peter Parker that, "I believe there's a hero in all of us, give us strength, make us noble. But sometimes the things that we have, we got to give up the thing we want the most." And he comes back and tells Doc Ock that. It's like Aunt May told him that speech earlier, and now it comes back where he tells Doc Ock the same thing, and Doc Ock has to give up things. And he said he's right. He's right. So this makes me say that this film is a little bit different from the first film. Because the first film, the Green Goblin was so evil, he never redeemed himself. Doc Ock is a good villain, but I think Green Goblin is a far more better villain. Doc Ock was a villain because he didn't want to give up the thing he was creating. And so that's what makes him the villain. But now he realizes, like, this thing he was doing was madness, and now he has to redeem himself. He's like, Peter Parker, he's right. He's right. So it was like he redeemed himself to get rid of this thing that he was creating. So it was like a redemption in a lot of ways. So I was like, this is really a good scene. So I like how it does. I like how the writers and the directing of this movie was doing. And then it leads on where Mary Jane finally knows who Peter Parker is. She finally knows who Spider-Man is. And it was just like, finally, she knows. She's like, got a breather. And it was like, fine. And that's why I like where the scene where the thing about falling her and people are like, this, he said, this thing is really heavy. He said, if in case we die, she said, you do love me. He said, I do. And I love that. It was just great. And to talk about this, I know a lot of people kind of hate that the Mary Jane, she get captured again. This time I didn't mind it. I was fine. I was like, okay, she gets captured again. Fine. But the third movie, I could get people's point on the third movie. But this time it was fine. Because it was the right moment where she finally knows who Peter is. I liked it. So that was fine. Here's where here's what I like about this the later on thing where she finally knows who Peter Parker is. But the thing about it is now she's like, he says that Spider-Man always will have enemies. And she's like, he said, I don't think we can be together. So I like how where he lays her down to the ground where Jameson's son like finds Mary Jane, but she looks at Peter because now she knows where her heart is for who she wants to be with. And then that leads on to the wedding scene where she doesn't even marry Jameson's son. She goes to Peter Parker to the apartment thing or whatever, and she says, I have a choice who I want to be with. And Peter Parker was just shocked to see her, and she said, I love you so much, Peter, and gives him a kiss and stuff. And that's when, like, they're hearing the air helicopter and something going on. She said, go get him, Tiger. That's when Spider-Man starts swinging, and I love the finale swinging. It just sets the mood right. Everything about this movie was just so well done. Everything. And I forgot to mention, Danny Elfman music comes back once again in this film. The music score is absolutely phenomenal. Once again here, everything about this movie is so well done. Spider-Man 2 is absolutely a fantastic movie. There's some issues with the movie. I would say it has, like, some stuff probably you reused from the first movie or something like that. Or, like, Mary Jane is, like pounding Peter for missing her plays and stuff. And a lot of things like some stuff of the characters should have been like a little bit could have been like a little bit fleshed out a little bit more, but I think they fleshed out enough of the characters. There's some parts that does have problems in the film, but I think the writers and directing did so well in this film, and I still think Spider-Man 2 is still a great movie. I think it's still one of the best Spider-Man movies still this day. I still think this movie is a phenomenal comic movie. I think people don't give enough credit of what it does. Some people say it's dated. I think some technical parts is probably like that, but as a film, it holds up. I still love Spider-Man 2. Man, it's a freaking phenomenal film. And as right now, in my book, Spider-Man 2 absolutely gets an A+. Woo! Man, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this film. Did you like it or not? Let me know. And let me know what do you think about the scenes of Spider-Man 2. Let me know what your favorite scenes were, what you like about it. Let me know. And I'm going to be reviewing Spider-Man 3 I'll be reviewing Spider-Man 3 soon, so check out for that review. So let me know what you think about this film. I would love to know. Like I said, I love this movie so in depth. This movie is my favorite Spider-Man film. Let me know. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, click thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, click subscribe and the bell button. That's how I can see you next time on Sly the Movie Guy. Peace.